So far in MPX, I see myself being really successful in the future of school, and it's been a great fit for me and a great way for me to learn and create new habits, good habits as a student. I've always been a very independent person, so MPX has been a good fit for me. Uh, Most people see MPX as a way of like getting out of work and stuff, but so far I see myself working harder than I think I would be working in standard school because I come to school and I want to work and I want to get the things done that I have to get done. And I feel like I have more freedom to explore and learn what I want to do. So I like it so far. So my first skill that I've gained throughout MPX or improved is analyzing information. So the artifact that I'm going to show that where I gained the skill of analyzing information is my Alchemist infographic. So the main purpose of an infographic is to show information in an organized way to inform the reader and make it so that they can understand the information. So, and you want to make sure your infographic has more graphics and less writing. So I started off with 10 events from the book, and eventually I narrowed them down to 6 events, and these events were events that I thought were important from the book. So I had to analyze the book and choose my events, and I chose my events by looking at Santiago and trying to decide if he changed as a person or got closer to his personal legend. So the bigger the slice, the more important the event is, and the book starts here and goes in order around. I thought this event was the most important just because it was like he turned into the wind, so it was really important for him because he learned how to like connect to the land and think about the sand and the sun and the wind. And he turned into the wind. So my next skill is peer feedback. So I think peer feedback is a very helpful skill, and you can use it to improve other people's work, and receiving feedback also improves your work because it gives you a new perspective on your work, and when you're giving other people peer feedback, you're driving them to improve their work, and they get to learn the full potential of their project. Or maybe they discover something that they did well that they may want to continue to do when they make more projects. So the most valuable feedback that I received when making my infographics was that I should try to make sure that I don't focus on my drawings rather than the information because I learned that not all good infographics have good drawings. It doesn't just because you don't need good drawings to have good infographic as long as it's understandable and it visually represents what you're trying to tell people. So what I do when I'm giving feedback to people is I try to put myself in their shoes and I try to think what would I do if I was making the same project infographic?
Please excuse this interruption. The girls' JV soccer team needs to be excused today at 2 p.m. to get to the Waipio soccer complex. Thank you.
And also when I give feedback, I'm trying to check if it's an infographic, is it informative or is it more of a summary? And if it's like a summary, what should the person do to make it more informative? Like I could maybe give them an example or what I think they could possibly do. So yeah, that's peer feedback. It's a very helpful way to improve your project. So my next skill is editing and drafting things, and I gained this skill through the Heroes Character Sketch project that we made. So after the interview, I had like many ideas, and we had to organize them all together and plan out our first draft. So we made like outlines, and then we ended up going to the first draft, and we made revisions. And throughout this project, my writing skills really improved. So I started off with my interview questions. So my hero was my dad, right? So I thought of, I already knew what I wanted to put, what I already had some ideas of what I wanted to write on my sketch, but then there were some things that I kind of need to clear up or get answered on, so I made these questions. And after I made questions, I had my interview, and here is, I took notes during the interview and made some answers. It might not look very organized, but I did it my own way. I was able to understand it. And after that, I had all my ideas, and I feel like the outline was just as hard as making my first draft because I had all these ideas, and then I had to put them all together in order, and it was actually really helpful because once I made my outline of everything I want to say in my first draft, I was able to write my first draft really quickly, and I feel like this project is going to help me in the future because now I know that when I'm writing other large assignments that I should probably make an outline because it made writing my first draft really simple. And then after going through more revisions and peer feedback, I was able to write my final and put it together in format. And I'm very happy with how it came out. I thought it was going to be difficult to write that much, but it wasn't. So editing and drafting really improved, and now I know in the future what I should be looking for when I'm editing my papers and what I should do to make them really well in the end. So the next skill I also gained through the Heroes Project because I improved my oral speaking and presentations through the exhibit where we presented our sketches to the public. So during the gallery, people walked around and I stood next to my character sketch, and I had my character sketch as a way to show what I thought about my dad, and people that came by, when I would talk to them, I would talk about the process of the project and why I liked the project and what I improved on throughout the project. So communication was very important, and I improved on my presentation skills, and I feel like I gained a lot more confidence with oral presentation because I was talking to people like the president and the principal, and they seemed happy when they were listening to me. So it helped me feel more comfortable, and I was able to show how great FDX is and that we're doing great work. And I learned how to combine written and oral communication because it would be kind of useless to have people read my character sketch and then I just tell them about my character which is why I told them about the process and things like that. So the next skill that I improved on, I just want to call it my work ethic. Now, in work ethic, I kind of see it as multiple skills. It's like who I am as a student. It's like things like communication and time management and problem solving and critical thinking. So lately, 2 days a week, for 3 hours, we've been working on our hydroponic systems. And I don't think I've ever worked as hard as I have in my past years as a student as I have been lately. And it's really fun and it's great, and I want to work. And I feel like if I was in a standard class, it's like I don't want to do this. But and when working on the hydroponic systems, it's fun, and I want to keep working on it because every second I'm doing something, and we're all working together in my group. And problem solving is something else that is really crucial, especially in the Home Depot field trip that we went on. Because sometimes what happened was we had our list of things that we wanted, right? But just because we had a list doesn't mean it's definitely going to be there. So when we got there, we found out that some things it actually didn't have. Like one example of the product was we were trying to buy some vinyl fence post cement so so that we can attach our PVC piping to our fence. But we searched for a while and we couldn't find any, so we had to solve our problem and think about how we could find an alternative. And we ended up finding a different cement that's used for like your window sills and gutters and things like that, which is it was really similar. So it's working just as well. And communication was really key throughout the Home Depot field trip because we would be like calling each other on the phones and telling each other like when we should meet and where we should meet. Like if you can't find this item, meet here, or once you find everything, meet here, or stuff like that. So that's also why time management was really important because we only had so much time there. So we all had to discuss. We had to have like benchmarks on when we have to be done buying a certain item, and if we can't find it, we'll just move on. So far I've been very satisfied with my choice of taking MPX. It has been a very positive experience for me. I feel like I'm learning way more than I normally could be, and I'm reaching the full potential of how much I could be learning. And I'm able to find value in what I'm learning, and I'm looking forward to the next semester. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Cooper, what was I think you did a really great job laying out your skills. Was it difficult to identify the skills that you wanted to include in this presentation?
No, it was actually really easy to find out what skills I wanted to include, but the hard part in that was finding artifacts to support my skills because I was actually switching my artifacts and skills a lot because I would find out that I actually switched my skills a few times too because I'd say, oh, I want to do this skill, but then I'd be looking for an artifact and then I realized, oh, I don't really have anything to back that up, so then I'd switch it. That also made writing my script kind of difficult. But I was able to pull it through, and that was probably more hard than the presentation part, like speaking to you guys, because I don't really have trouble doing that.
Thank you.
Wait, stop, Kai.
Kai.
Wait, have you guys figured out, or is your hydroponic system working?
Yeah, well, we connected our pipes and stuff, and we have the water working and the pump working, but we just need to finish the top part. Like we need to do some we need to at the top we need to